You know, hashtag with Marcus J. We're back. Thank you so much for staying with us live from the Den, LegacyInternetRadio.com. We're definitely happy to have you still with us. 804-402-2893 is the number, the live line to get in on the discussion tonight on LegacyInternetRadio.com and MixLR live from the Den. You know, Steppin with Marcus J. Appreciate everybody that's still with us. We got some things that we need to get into, a couple of housekeeping things, and we appreciate everybody who helps to patronize our sponsor, the Doctor of Optometry, Dr. Euphemia Huggins Williams, ODPC. She's the lady who takes care of my eyes, y'all. Make sure I don't have any cataracts or any glaucoma, anything like that. Get my eyes checked once a year. Takes all kinds of insurances. If you ever see me, you know you ain't gonna never see me without some glasses. I get them all from her. Stylish, at least I think they are. Check her out. 804-327-1640. Go see her here in the local Richmond, Virginia area, 7124 Forest Hill Avenue, Suite B in Richmond, Virginia, 23225. The Doctor of Optometry is our sponsor. We appreciate any love that you guys want to give her. You know, hashtag with Marcus J. As you know, at this time of the show, every single week, we always we always profile a missing and or exploited child. This week's child is Daria Williams. Her date of birth is May 27th, 1998. She's been missing since February 15, 2003. She's 5'8". She's got black hair she's got black eyes and brown hair. She's a black female. She's 14 years old. She stands 5'8", 140 pounds. She's missing from Trenton, New Jersey. She may be with a female companion, and they still may be in a local area. She has the following tattoos: Wiz on the right side of her neck, Rose, Zakia, Angel on her right arm, and Indigo on her left arm. If you have seen Daria Williams, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Hit them on their website at missingkids.com or contact them by phone at 1-800-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. Please bring Daria Williams and any of our missing and or exploited children home. You know, Steppin with Marcus J. Live from the Den, y'all. LegacyInternetRadio.com. Socially Conscious Entertainment Hour has now commenced, and I don't think anybody has been near TV today or radio has not been made aware of what's going on in Boston, Massachusetts today, the day of their marathon. Apparently there have been several bombings there that have culminated in a minimum of 2 deaths and scores of injuries and lots of if you've seen the video, then you know how tragic this was. This isn't something, in my opinion, that was accidental. This was definitely an act of terrorism, depending on who you find the terrorist to be. There's definitely an act of terrorism. I know that my co-host Carlton Banks and I have had dialogue in the past. We've discussed terrorism in the past. I think now would be an appropriate time for us to have this conversation. Carlton, I understand that when you were on your way into the studio today, you were keeping yourself abreast of what was going on in Boston. So what can you tell me as far as your impression so far about what happened going on up there?
You know, it was really shocking to me because I didn't see anything until I got home. And first thing I'm seeing is that, you know, 2 people are dead and countless others are wounded from a bomb blast, from something that I feel has never been anything of a target per se. But then again, who can define what is a target? So I had to recant that comment I made to you earlier, because this building could be a target. Who the hell knows? It's crazy out there, man. I mean, you got every nationality out there, like you said earlier, and people are just out running. Richmond itself had a 10K running yesterday. Today we had the Boston Marathon, one of the biggest known races ever. And something like this crap happens, man. I'm like, what happens? I try to watch it to a certain degree while I'm still at the house. It's gut-wrenching, man. I mean, this is uncalled for. This is truly and utterly uncalled for. You have people out here working hard, doing everything they possibly can. You know, who the hell wants to go to war? And, you know, everything's always North Korea. Then all of a sudden this crap hits, you know.
Unique, when you see the news of this bombing, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? And you can speak freely. I see you over there tempering your thoughts. Just go ahead and speak freely. What's your thoughts? We not governed by the FCC here. You know how Steppin with Marcus J. So you can say whatever you want.
My observation on things, you know what I'm saying, of this nature is that nothing gets past the U.S. government without it already being pre-planned, premeditated for a purpose. So I'm not a big fan of so-called terrorists unless we're talking about the government. And usually when situations like this happens, like I said, it's for some pre-planned reason. And me studying the way that I do and knowing the things that I know, you know, I don't see it coming from or being any outside force.
JR, what's your thoughts, bro?
Thoughts on Boston. When I initially saw what had happened, you know, lots of things run through your mind. You know, you wonder, okay, is this, you know, just some nut job killing, or is this terrorism, or is it the government? My main thing would be concern for the people. So far that I know of, 2 deaths and more than 80 injured. I would say I always lean on the side of caution, and just at a loss of words when things like this happen. But also caution not to panic and necessarily give up freedoms, you know, for security.
Right.
Going back to the Newtown and all the recent events surrounding, you know, the new gun control laws that they want to institute. This is just another case where we see an act of terrorism for all intents and purposes, and, you know, people begin to refocus. They kind of forget what's at hand. So I would say stay focused on what we have in front of us, not to overreact, but to react properly. But definitely thoughts and prayers out to the people up there. Horrible thing to happen.
Well, my thought is this. I mean, when you look at the calendar and you see it being the week of the anniversary of Patriots Day, of course, being later on this week, the 19th, and you have so many things going on. You know, you got the marathon. You had the Red Sox that played earlier in the day. You had 2 bombs that were set to go off as the masses of people were crossing. So the first thing is, there's no way that this wasn't something that was completely set up. As far as the United States government being complicit in it, you know, it's one of those things. You know, I had a couple of people that emailed me earlier today, asked me my opinion. I guess everybody seems to think that I'm a conspiracy theorist, which, you know, they say it to me in a you know, disparaging way, and I don't take it that way, because, you know, to me, a conspiracy theorist is someone who is a free thinker, who doesn't allow themselves to be caught up in the way that you're trained to think. That's the first thing. The United States government is known to do things in the shadows that they don't want to come to light, right?
Right.
But they're also known for doing some real messed up stuff right in front of you.
Exactly.
So if they do a lot of real messed up stuff right in front of you, and they also do a whole lot of crazy stuff in the shadows, I don't think that it's that far-fetched to think that it is possible that there may be some complicity here. Am I saying, yeah, I think the government did it? No, I'm not saying. Of course I'm not saying that. Do I think it's a homegrown terrorist? No, I'm not saying that either. Do I think it's Al-Qaeda? I mean, I don't freaking know. The people on the ground, it's their job to figure all of that out. But I think people who immediately want to point the finger at somebody like me or someone like Unique, who would come out and say, you know what, I'm going to keep my eyes wide open on this one, and I'm going to also do the knowledge myself to determine what I think may have happened. Hey, these people got wiretaps on, you know, people who ain't did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? You find out years and years later that they had wiretaps on people long after they died. You know what I'm saying? They're watching folks. So if they're capable of that, then I don't think there's any reason to assume that they're not capable of mass murder. Now, does that mean it came from the White House? Of course not, because I don't think anybody thinks that the White House is the sole, well, there's a figurehead, but I don't think that anybody who really, really pays attention thinks that the White House is what's really running the country. I don't, you know, I think that, I hope that we're past that kind of knowledge. You know, but hey, it's one of those things where if somebody wants to debate and argue with me, then fine, we can talk about it. Because I've had this conversation with really intelligent people who think that I'm out my damn mind. And when I talk to them, I think they out their damn mind. But you know what? We can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. I mean, that's the way I see that, JR. So when I look at things like, you know, the bombing in Oklahoma City on April 19, 1995, and I see it take years and years and years and years before anybody wants to use the word terrorist because he was a white man and not a guy with a turban on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they want you to associate terrorism with people who wear turbans. You understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Right.
So whoever did this, whether it was Al-Qaeda, whether it was a descendant of bin Laden, whether it was a black dude from Roxbury, I don't care who the hell it was, that person is a terrorist.
Right.
Straight up. And again, Carl, I brought this up because you and I used to argue about the definition of terrorism, and I understand the point that you made a minute ago, but I brought that up and I wanted to kind of talk with you directly on that because, you know, we just disagreed on that. Now,
Right, we did.
We did. You know, it was fair. It was spirited. It was definitely spirited, but it was fair. I understood where you were coming from. I just disagreed. And I think you understood where I was coming from. You just disagreed. So let me ask you a direct question. You don't have to know any more than what you know right now. Do you think this was terrorism?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. Regardless if it's local, national, or international, I do agree that this was a terroristic act meant to instill fear. When you have multiple bombs, multiple explosions, you go about the act of terrorism. Does it normally happen in this country? Hell to the no. But this case, you know, a lot of people are scared now. Boston is going to be forever scarred. They're going to be talking about it next year. They're not going to get as many runners, although you have people who are avidly enthused by running that won't show up next year because of the situation. You have little kids that are scarred for life, adults that are scarred for the rest of their lives. You know, it's just sad. I mean, what is this world coming to? What is this country coming to?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why do you plant fear in someone?
That's the act of terrorism.
Why do you plant fear in someone?
I understand where she's going.
Control them.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Hey, look.
There you go.
I know I'm a conspiracy person. And I look for it in anything. I look for it in just a man reporting the local news. But to speak to a point about where it may or may not have come from, I was listening to the radio earlier today, and one early report I heard a news reporter say that they had a 20-year-old Saudi man. Now, they then, about 45 minutes later, came back and said that, you know, they did not know whether or not it was a Saudi man or not, but they just knew it was a 20-year-old suspect who was in the hospital. So that definitely speaks to they want you to associate terrorists as, you know, someone of Middle Eastern descent. To me, I've also looked at the video, one of the videos that are online. It looks more like what you would call a flashbang versus an actual bomb, from what I could tell. And I even under the video, under a comment, a person commented that if they reported that, you know, lots of shrapnel was thrown around, how come none of the flags that are in the vicinity were tore up by any of the shrapnel? Some of the reports you see, people said they seen body limbs flying past them. So if all that be said, then why aren't we seeing, you know, destruction to the background? At least in initial videos. I'm sure we'll see some videos later of destruction because, you know, that comes after.
I think that was a fair question that Unique asked. I mean, why instill fear to control? And I think that's what, our government does. And there's a history here that goes back a very long time. And, the hypocrisy that we see sometimes where we find ourselves in other people's countries trying to regulate and dictate how they do things. We got this thing going on with North Korea right now, and I'm certainly not defending them. That's not what I'm here to do. But, a lot of times the hypocrisy that we see sometimes just kind of blows my mind, and, again, I mean, me saying that may sound like I'm suggesting that the United States was complicit in this. I'm not saying that because I don't know. And I don't think we'll ever know, because if they were, they'll make sure that we don't know that for sure anyway, but the point I'm making is there's plenty of evidence out there for mind control. And by you suggesting that you saw that they had someone of Middle Eastern descent that they have already attached to this, what's going to happen if they find out that this was Craig and them from Roxbury Project? Real talk. Yeah. What's going to happen if we find out there's some white boys from the suburbs of Boston? What's going to happen then?
They're gonna probably give you the domestic terrorist spin.
We're trying to soften it a little bit by adding domestic.
Soften it, but I think there's been in recent years a spin towards domestic terrorism to use excuses for drones being used. So I'm not sure, like you said, you really don't know either way.
Drones,
Unique, what you think?
New laws, more control as far as my biggest thing with everything that I've been seeing lately, from the different shootings, today's bombing, all takes me to just looking at are they trying to prepare us for martial law?
Absolutely.
And, little things happen here and there, as we said, to plant fear in the people so that we don't question when our freedom is taken away from us, as far as no guns, to be able to protect yourself, your home, your family, things of that nature. Period.
I tell you, anybody that knows me knows that I have always been a strong supporter of our president, in large part because it's a black man leading our country, and people had issues with me because I supported him because he was black. That's kind of a them problem. I don't give a damn if you disagree with my reasons. I also think that he was someone, based on the things that he was saying and the things that I had already seen that he had done, I thought he would be, and I still think that he has been, a decent leader for our country. Not a great one, but a decent one. One thing that he did that drove me crazy at the time, that got swept under the rug, that nobody paid attention to, that I was screaming about, was the National Defense Authorization Act. Because when he signed it, a lot of what people don't understand about what that act was about, and I'll break it down kind of in layman's terms, it eliminates due process. It keeps them from pulling you in a room like the one we in now and going, you had the right to remain silent. If you give up that right to remain silent, everything, you ain't got to do that no more. If they feel as though they have, air quotes coming, probable cause to bring you in, all of that, read your Mirandas and keep you for 3 days or 72 hours, as they like to say. Don't say 3 days. 72 hours sounds more menacing. All that's gone. They get to hold on to you as long as they want. And if you think I'm full of it, if you don't believe me, look up the National Defense Authorization Act. It's real, okay? And apparently he didn't want to sign it, okay? But if he didn't want to sign it, but he did sign it, who you think is running the country? Is it the president?
Nope.
Or is it somebody who is really in control of the country?
Right.
So for those people who think that us speaking in conspiracy theory and we losing our minds and all that kind of stuff, let me just say this to you real quick. Just because we don't think like you think, don't mean that we wrong. It could very possibly mean that you're wrong, right? Because there's two sides to every coin, right? Every coin don't got heads. Some of them got tails. Every one of them got tails, right? So it could be you that's wrong. So think about that before you look at someone and you tell them that they wrong just because you disagree with them. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. I don't want to spend much more time on the bombing because we do have limited information on it, and it's fluid. Things are coming out, little by little, and I didn't want this thing to happen and kind of kill our show. So I want to kind of have that conversation that we already had and kind of move on and get into, the real meat of what we like to call what the hell. Unique. I'm coming to you on this one first, girl, because this one right here, when I read it to you, you know what you're going to say?
What the hell?
What the hell? All right, check it. I'm going to just read the byline first because I always like to read the bylines before I get into them. Colin Banks, and he don't even know how to hold on to himself. Like, he over there laughing because he know how I do. All right, here's the byline. Mom tosses baby aside to fight bus passenger.
What the hell?
What? Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm gonna show y'all the still photo. I don't want to take the time to pull it up on because there's a video here, and these are stills from the video. Called now. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'm gonna read.
I already saw it.
Yeah, you already saw it. Okay,
Yeah.
you saw it on my wall. All right. I'll get into a little bit of the article, then we'll kind of wrap about it. Unique, I want you on this one first as a mom. Unidentified woman is captured on cell phone video tossing aside a child believed to be her daughter to fight another passenger on a city bus. It's a 2-minute video that shows her arguing with another woman on a Connecticut bus for reasons not exactly clear. It appears that women were going back and forth over a relationship a relative of the mother had with the other woman's boyfriend. Quote, "Somebody grab my baby," the unidentified woman yells. "Somebody grab my baby. I'll thrash you on this bus. I'll beat the out of you on this bus, little girl." I don't really think we need to read much more of that article, other than a random voice going, "Oh my God," because that person, instead of saying "Oh my God," we gonna say what? What the hell? What the hell? So you need. I'm gonna ask you on this one first, girl. Your mom. I don't think that's a secret. Everybody knows it in the room. We know your mom. The world now knows that you're a mom. I'm guessing you wouldn't throw one of your babies aside so that you can throw hands with somebody. I'm guessing you probably wouldn't do that.
Nah.
What's your thoughts when you see something like this? I mean, as a mom, I'm guessing that you go to school to deal with, issues, positive and somewhat maybe negative, to deal with your children. The point I'm making is you go to school. You've seen other moms. You might have seen a chick like this before.
Yeah,
You've seen that chick before. What's your thoughts when you hear a story like this? She threw the baby aside so she could throw hands, y'all. What the hell?
Some people want to fight. That's all that is. Some people want to straight. What's up? You want to get loud? What?
You don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't get loud.
But it rendered the mom speechless because I saw her open up her mouth and nothing came out just now. I mean, because you don't know what to say.
No, you really don't. Like, yeah.
Colton.
Yeah.
I can't relate. Let's just say that.
I can't relate either, but damn it, I got an opinion. Poor baby, Arthur Desiree Monique is saying, poor baby. Hey, poor baby is right. Poor baby. Colton, we know that you got a child. Can you see yourself with Lil Banks somewhere in a public place and someone disrespect you and you toss him aside and you want to throw hands?
Let me tell you something. There was this one time I had a car accident, but he was strapped into the seat. I did want to go beat the guy up who hit me. And the only thing that saved him was that he pulled off. So I understand.
But you also the same dude. And I don't think that I'm being disrespectful and calling you out. You're the same dude that, you are such a good father that you don't even really want to have a beer around your son.
I don't. You're right.
You don't say bad words around your son. That's
True.
how good of a father you are. So I know you can't relate. I know you can't. JR, when you hear this story, you're the only one in the room that doesn't have any children, but I know that you also, have nieces and or nephews. So you got kids around you. I know you got kids around you.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I know you got kids that's in your camp. And, because of our personal relationship outside the studio, I also know how you feel about children.
Right.
Mama J loves you to death, and I know you love her to death. So when you hear a story like this, and you can see the child, we're not talking about, Lil Banks who's 7 or Mama J who's going to be 10 soon. We talking about a baby. A baby. I mean, what the hell, man?
What the hell? Never would I think to toss aside a baby to scrap with somebody. Never, ever.
Her mama probably did her like that.
Probably.
The baby she's holding gonna do somebody else like that.
And you know what? And it's funny that you put it that way, but you know what? What you're alluding to is the systematic problems that we have where these types of bad behavior and poor decisions continue from generation to generation to generation.
Yeah.
And at some point, JR, somebody needs to break that cycle because if they don't, I'm gonna come to you. If they don't break the cycle, what's gonna happen?
It's gonna continue, which is what I was gonna say. The difference between back then and now is, you know what I'm saying, back then other people got involved. She wouldn't have threw the baby because nobody would have took it, or people would have been trying to stop her. But I'm more than sure there were people that were probably edging her on. Right. Like, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, everybody in this room, 30s, 40s, everybody in this room, 30s, 40s. And I say this to, in all seriousness, I say this to bring up the point that, and this is my personal opinion, and if you disagree, call me and tell me you disagree at 804-402-2893. Hit me on Facebook or MixLR and tell me you think I'm tripping. But I honestly believe that people born in the early to mid, maybe the late 70s is probably the last generation of people who wasn't out their damn mind. I think that pretty much everybody, with the few exceptions, y'all crazy. I mean, for pretty much what they call y'all. We Generation X, and I think they call Generation Y. Generation Y, y'all crazy, man, for real. Because y'all a bunch of punks that can't fight. So instead of fighting, you want to shoot somebody. You'll beat your girl up, but you'll shoot the boyfriend. Like, for real? That's just some punk stuff, for real. You want to throw a baby aside because you want to fight some chick on a bus? I'm telling you, when we was growing up, Miss Glover down the street in Jersey City on Arlington Avenue, Miss Glover would have bust my ass, and then she would have took me by the back of my shirt, and she would have took me to my mother and told my mother what happened, and then my pop would have bust my ass. That's how that's supposed to work.
That's how it did work.
I touch your kid now.
I don't claim, much like the drunk uncle at a cookout, I don't claim most of Generation Y.
You don't claim them.
I don't claim them. I wasn't raised like that. I got my head bust by many of people who were not Pam or James. So I don't know, where they getting this from. Like, what happened? I will say that I think some of the laws that they have with regards to what you can and can't do in your own home with your children. I will say that has a profound effect on children today.
Let me tell you the kind of mom that I am. I explain it all to my children. I give them the good and the bad. This is an example of it. At Kings Dominion with my oldest daughter, she's playing in my face. I tell her, stop playing in my face. Don't do that. I don't like that. She continues to do it. I'm like, if you keep doing that, I'm going to knock you out. So she looks around. We standing in line getting ready to get on the ride. She looks around. She sees a crowd. She was like, you're not going to do that. At this time, she was much younger than what she is now. She was like, you're not going to do that. I was like, really? I won't? She was like, nah, if you did that, they would lock you up. I said, okay, let me paint the scenario for you so you'll see what happens. I'm going to knock you out. Doswell police are going to come and get me. They're going to take me off to jail. Sometime tonight, I'm going to get bonded out. I'll be at home in a bed asleep. Where you going to be at?
Wow.
I know the answer. Did she know the answer?
No, she didn't know.
Yeah.
She asked, and so where am I going to be? Not with me, because at that point, I'm considered unfit. I can't control my children. I'm angry or whatever else, so you're not going to be with me. Am I ever going to see you again? Maybe when I come visit you in your foster home.
Wow. You took it there. But you know what, though?
That's deep.
But you know what, though? If the child's an intelligent child, and because I know her mother, I know she's an intelligent child, she got it. And she probably didn't try you anymore after that.
She actually stood with the big eyes, kind of turned around and leaned against me and was kind of looking at the rides, but you could see her wheels turning.
Right.
But I'd never had her do that again.
No.
Not playing my face.
Because I was about to ask you how fast did security get to you. So.
S.Y. Butler's hitting us up on the MixLR page. She's asking, what the hell? I hope the girl she fought whooped her butt just for that reason. Not only was it stupid, but she better be glad that was not my mama. She would have lost her baby. My mama worked for child welfare. And what if this person was actually a danger to the child? And then she's saying, you're right. I agree. Everyone looked out for us, and my mom and dad would tear it up after the neighbor or family member. So she's agreeing with the comment that I just made about Miss Glover busting my ass, rest her soul. Ain't no half stepping. Miss Glover's a real person. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the den, y'all. LegacyInternetRadio.com. I got one more that I want to get to at least in this segment before we take a break and come back to some more what the hell on the other side. This one I want to come to one of the fellas on this one first. You guys flip a coin and see which one we'll rock, take paper, it first. Rock, paper, scissors.
Let's go.
Yeah, all right. They're gonna do rock, paper, scissors.
They really do.
I guess that means JR's got this one first. Baggy pants law will fine offenders in Louisiana parish. Now we've seen situations come up over the last few years about people being fined or different ordinances coming up all over with regards to dealing with baggy pants. And I'll hold on to that next comment for a minute. But Louisiana's Terrebonne Parish passed an ordinance this week to ban saggy pants in public. The council voted 8-1 to pass the proposition despite divergent opinions in the community. Offenders will be fined $50 for the first offense, $100 for the second, and $100 plus 16 hours of mandatory community service for a third offense. A judge will determine the punishment for any further violations. The local NAACP chapter wholeheartedly agreed with the ban. Jerome Boykin, the group's president, declared, quote, "There's nothing positive about people wearing saggy pants. This is not a black issue. This is not a white issue. This is a people issue. Young men who were in prison, who wanted to have sex with other men, would send a signal to another man with his pants below his waist." JR, you got this one first. Do you think that it is a legitimate reason to fine someone? And I'm asking you your opinion, regardless of what this parish has done, regardless of what they may do here in Richmond or wherever else they may do it. I'm just asking you your personal opinion. Are you okay with them doing that?
No.
And why?
To me, to go back to what you were saying earlier, is control. We can ban people in their baggy pants sagging with their underwear. However, I would say I don't wear my pants like that. I never have. To me, it's uncomfortable, and if I got to run, I can't run with my pants down. So I don't ascribe to that. But for those who do, fine, do that. You can, as a woman, you can go wear shorts that reveal that area, but you can't wear your pants below your butt. I mean, so if he came out the house with just some boxers on and claimed they were shorts, nobody gonna say nothing to him. They're like, oh, they just shorts.
Carlton?
My thing is this: I don't want to see your ass cheeks. Plain and simple. I don't want to see that part of you. I wasn't meant to see that part of you. I hope you fall down and trip and break your neck. I mean, personally, shoot. When the cops say that, what you gonna do? How you want? That's just like them brothers who had the shoes that lit up when you ran in the dark alley. Brothers, the cops gonna catch you. What you gonna do? How you gonna shake those pants off your ass and get away from the cops? It's the shit. I took y'all tonight.
I think Ruben said the S word 2 weeks ago. I said it last week, and you said it tonight.
Yeah, it's because it pisses me off seeing that mess, man.
We've been cussing a lot. I think we're gonna end up drinking.
and
eating wings off of the tip job. Unique, as the resident lady in the room tonight, what's your thoughts on the baggy pants ban and the fines?
Anybody that knows me knows how I feel about that whole control situation that we talked about earlier. However, for me, this is one of those situations where I'm like, something needs to be done. I don't feel as though outside forces should have to penalize you or, tell you what to do in order to make you do something that's right. But then again, that goes all back to lack of parenting, and there's lack of parenting because there's a lack of knowledge and respect for self. At the same time, if we continue to just let these situations go on and on and on and on and do what we're doing right now, just continue to talk about it, we don't like it, we don't want to see it, etc., but yet nothing gets done about it, then it'll just keep going on.
So
and
where
on.
do we draw the line? Where do you draw the line when you can tell somebody how they can wear their pants? Like, what's left? I mean, you have gun control legislation going on. You have the Defense Act you were just mentioning. They can take you without due process. Laws every day are coming, and they're telling you everything. They from sun up to sundown, they're telling you what you can and can't do. Last time I checked, we was free to do whatever we want to as long as it wasn't harming anybody. Do I like seeing another man's butt? No. But if he want to wear his pants down, that's his business.
Author Desiree Monique is saying, well, she's somewhat agreeing with you, JR. She said they did it because most blacks and Latinos do it. She don't like it because it's about control. She don't like baggy pants either, but it's too much. While I understand the two of you, Desiree Monique and JR, I gotta disagree, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm on the fence on this one, because, while I agree that it's about control, I also think that there's certain things that you shouldn't do. And as a man, I'll be honest with you, there's nothing in the world more pleasing to me than the sight of a woman. There's just not. But there's just not. Quite simply, there's just not. Particularly, I won't go there. A woman is beautiful. But if she walking around dressed inappropriately, then for me, she fits in this class too.
Exactly.
Right.
But saying this ain't about just your pants off your ass, dudes. This about the sister who I can see her thong. From if I'm walking behind her in the mall, you know what I mean, and I can see her thong. I don't need to be seeing her thong walking around the mall again. And I'm a man, and I'm probably seeing it like, whoa, damn, But hey, what's fair is fair. And if you're gonna find, the dude, then you got to find the sister too. And while I agree, Desiree Monique, that it's a lot of black people and Latino people that do this, to me, it's not so much about the color. It's more about the culture. It's more about the young people. It's more about the hip hop community that promotes it. And I don't like the phrase "last time I checked" because that's a Ruben phrase. But since JR just said it, we always want to have Ruben part of the show. Last time I checked, young white kids is part of the hip hop community just as much as anybody else, and in some cases even more. And those are the ones a lot of times that are doing it just as much as the young black kids. So
Ask Desiree how would she like it if she saw her father walking around with his pants sagging down and his silk boxers showing?
that's a good question.
Would it still be appealing?
Well, I know she's listening. So
how far we go though?
So I know she's listening. So fair enough, Desiree Monique. Go ahead and feel free to respond to that. But
the fines, how far does that go? Do you then start when they keep wearing their pants like they are? Because they say, look, man, I don't care where I live at. We're in America, so I'm gonna keep wearing my pants off my behind because that's what I want to do. So after you find them $50, $100, $150, are we going to then start incarcerating people for wearing saggy pants?
But it's no different than your cigarette smoking ban. Okay, it's no different than that. Because again,
it's a lot different.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I can't catch cancer from the next man wearing his pants off his butt,
but
I can catch cancer from secondhand smoke.
Okay, but see, the thing about it is this:
my daughters are catching cancers of the eyes. You know what I'm saying, and thinking that this is normal, this is respectful, this is the type of man that it's a different type of cancer.
You're not gonna die from seeing it.
You may not
die from destruction.
There's definitely some mind destruction things going on here when you see that. And you assume that it's normal. Because of my job, I spend a lot of my day in the public. You know what I mean? I'm not in the office. I'm out in public. So I see it where These cats literally have the pants under the cuff of the ass cheek. Like, seriously.
I done seen them down to the kneecaps.
And it's like
with the long shirts,
you know, and
the
thing that trips me out is like you oftentimes will see them holding the pants up. It's like,
so what if somebody plays?
Well, you know what it is. I'm gonna tell you what it is. You know what it is? It's indecency, and you can get fined for walking around butt ass naked. You can,
right? But he still technically has clothes on though.
Yeah, but
you're not seeing any parts of.
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. Let's say you walking down Boulevard in Colonial Heights, Virginia, which is a neighboring town to us here in Richmond. You walking down Colonial Heights and you see a dude walking down the street. He don't have no pants on. He just got his boxers. He got his boxers and a pair of flip-flops. And he walking down the street and he got on a wife beater. He got the wife beater tucked into the boxers. Thankfully, the boxers at the front is closed, but it's still the boxers. Do you think that there should be some sort of indecency citation for this dude?
Nah, but I think they should take him to Tucker's and have him evaluated.
He don't have a daughter yet.
Let me give it to him something where he can really.
I tried to make that as clear.
How about this?
I tried to.
The restaurant says no shirt, no suit, no shoes, no service.
Right.
Okay, that tells you right there. You can't come in here with what? No shirt. You gotta have a shirt on. No shoes. You gotta have shoes on. Okay, if you don't come in here, no service. That owner is already dictated what you can or cannot do. The government is also telling you in that locale, the government in that locale is telling you the same thing. Cigarette smoking, we don't want it. You drinking too many carbonated sodas in New York and New Jersey, we don't want it. I mean, certain things that are distracting to the community and in turn bringing it down. It's a matter of self-expression is one thing, but total disgust and, like Marcus said, common decency, it's another thing.
We getting hit by S.Y. Butler says, "Oh my God, fine them." So now they're going to put a fine for wearing pajamas also, which that one right there is that blows my mind to see the people in pajamas in public. But it is what it is. Author Desiree Monique still listening to us. She's responding to your comment, Unique. She wouldn't like it, but the parents are the ones who pay the fines, not the children. I don't like it. My children don't do it. Maybe other children can be examples to their peers. So she's basically saying she got a hold of her community, which is a good thing, and hopefully they can provide an example for the other kids around. I'm going to leave this one there because I got a lot more other stuff that I want to get to. Time is 34 after the hour. And, #Steppin with Marcus J. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into some more what the hells, and I got a couple that are, bound to elicit some emotion up in here. Marcus J. #Steppin live from the den, y'all. Legacy Internet Radio. Hang in there. We're going to go until about 9:15 tonight. #Steppin, Marcus J. Be back.